Hello everyone, welcome to day 12. Today our theme is nourish, and that's exactly what this practice is going to help you do. So come to a nice comfortable seat, cross-legged on your mat. You can get a cushion or a blanket and sit on it and help that prop up your hips for a little extra comfort. We'll bring our hands straight to our heart, left hand over the heart, right hand over the belly. And we'll begin by breathing into our hands, feeling the chest rise as we inhale and the belly expand, and noticing the drop in our hands as we exhale. As you continue to breathe into your hands, maybe you start to deepen the breath here. And remember that today is a new day. And it is a new opportunity for self-reflection. So if you feel like you've maybe, quote unquote, fallen off the wagon, or if you're not showing up for yourself and completing your practices the way that you had intended to every single day, side note, that's a-okay. But also take the time today to peel back some layers and ask yourself, what is it that's preventing you from showing up for yourself the way that you need to? What is no longer serving you in this season? When we take the time to notice, we start paying better attention to the things that nourish us. Together throughout this program, we're working to build sustainable practices, habits that serve us so that they can have a direct effect on how we carry ourselves, both physically in our body, what we eat, energetically as well, how we speak to ourselves, and how we hold space for ourselves and others. Because when we nourish ourselves, that's when we can serve our loved ones the best. Okay, rant over, and we'll begin our practice. So you can release the hands down, let them fall comfortable in your lap, and just allow the breath to come back to its natural rhythm. On our inhale, you can keep the eyes closed here, or you can sneak a peek at me if you need. But we'll ascend the hands out in front of us. Imagine that you have a huge beach ball in your hands. So we've got this nice energetical lift in the chest here. Arms are full of energy. We're holding our imaginary ball, and we'll inhale and take that ball up and overhead nice and slow, drawing the shoulders away from the air. So imagine you have little weights sitting on the tops of your shoulders, weighing your shoulders down. Awesome. On our exhale, we'll twist open to the right and float the hands down, one in front and one behind. Flip the palms over so they're facing the ceiling, and inhale, we'll bring them all the way back up to center. And when we get there, again, holding our ball, drawing the shoulders down. Exhale, twisting open to the left, bringing the hands down. And when they get there, flipping the palms up. And inhale, bringing them all the way back up, holding our ball as we return to center. Exhale, we'll fold forward. And again, the goal of our forward fold is to see if we can get our belly to rest on the tops of the thighs. If you need to bring the knees up, take a nice big bend in the knees here. Remember, the goal is a straight spine and not to touch our toes. If you can touch your toes, that's fine, but the goal is to keep a straight spine. On our exhale, we'll slowly roll all the way up, and we'll take it straight on to our tabletop, coming into all fours, wrists under shoulders, knees stacked underneath the hips. We'll tuck the toes under, taking a nice deep breath in, filling up that rib cage, and exhale, hinge the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Here in our down dog, do all the things that nourish your soul, that nourish your physical body in this posture. So whether that means pedaling out the feet nice and slow, maybe dipping the hips over one side, followed by the next. Maybe you pick up each foot and do some ankle circles, stretching it out. Have some freedom in this pose. Find what feels good. And then we'll come back to our down dog, wherever we've gone. And we'll send our gaze up towards the top of the mat, and we'll slowly, very, very slowly, begin to walk to the top. We're not in a rush. We're here to take care of ourselves, so we'll move nice and slow with intention, walking it up to the top. When we get to the top, we'll inhale and lift halfway, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Grab hold of each elbow in your hands and gently start to sway side to side, again moving nice and slowly. Keep a big, generous bend in the knees here, especially if your hamstrings are maybe feeling a little tight from our practices over the last couple of days. On our next inhale, we'll send both hands out either side as we rise all the way up, bringing the hands up and overhead. From here, as we're up at the top, the right hand will just clasp over the left wrist. Inhale and reach the left fingers up just a little bit higher towards the ceiling. And exhale, we'll take it over to the right, getting a nice side body stretch. Inhale, we'll come back through center and we'll switch it over. So the left hand takes hold of the right wrist, reaching that right hand up just a little higher to the ceiling. And exhale, twisting open or stretching open to the left. Inhale, we'll come back to center. And we'll bring our hands, so exhale, we'll bring our hands to our back. And we want to place them palms down, so our fingers are pointing down towards the ground. And they're on either side of our sacrum, so our very low back. You can kind of feel the top of your hip bone, your pelvis bone, and that's where the palm of your hand is going to be rooted. So it's on either side of your spine, and draw the elbows back, lifting in the chest. Inhale and lift the chin a little, and exhale, just take a slight back bend here. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, just lifting the chest, making sure we're not crunching in the neck. We can still breathe. And exhale, we'll come back to center. From here, we're going to take it to the long edge of our mat. So you can just move your phone or laptop, whatever you're watching me on, to face the long edge of our mat. And we'll take a nice wide stance here, significantly wider than our hip distance apart. Our feet are both parallel to the short edges of our mat. So you'll know based on what feels good in your body if you need to widen or shorten your stance as we fold. But before we get there, let's check in with the foundations and make sure that our alignment is good before we fold. I'd like you to look down at your feet and imagine that from your left big toe running all the way across to your right ankle is a super sturdy material. And the same from your right big toe across to your left ankle. Do you see that X? That is your X anchor. It's grounding you down. Press into the outer edges of both feet. Do you feel your X activated? Once you do, bring your hands to your hips, and we'll take a nice deep breath in. On our exhale, we'll hinge our hips back as we begin to fold forward, releasing the hands down to the ground if we are capable. If we can't reach the ground, that's no problem. We can bring a block or a cushion or even a chair in front of us to just gently rest our hands on as we work on getting that flexibility in the hamstrings to fold a little deeper. Regardless of where you are, on our inhale, we'll just lift the spine halfway And exhale, fold. We'll interlace the hands behind the back, keeping a pistol grip. So the index fingers are pointed and the rest of the hands are interlaced. Squeezing the shoulders together. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold forward. This time bringing the hands up behind you. Great. From here, we'll release the hands back down and we'll bend the knees and we'll heel toe the feet in just a couple steps, keeping the toes pointing out and the heels turned in slightly. Whenever you're ready, we'll slowly bring the sit bones down to the earth, coming into our Malasana yogi squat. Usually in our yogi squat, we bring our hands to heart and use the backs of our triceps to open up our hips and press the thighs away. This time, we'll take our hands on the outside of our legs and we'll plant the right hand. On the inhale, we'll sweep the left fingertips up and over for a nice side body stretch. Exhale, we'll float the left fingertips down and plant them in the earth. Flip the right palm over and inhale, bring the right fingertips up and over for a side body stretch. Exhale, float them all the way down and we'll slowly just release the sit bones down to the earth and extend our feet out in front of us. On our next inhale, we'll sit up nice and tall and again with our beach ball in front of us, we'll inhale and bring it all the way up overhead. Again, imagining that you have those two little weights sitting on the tops of your shoulders, drawing them away from your ears. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward. Again, in this forward fold, we can keep a nice bend in the knees here if we need it. Beautiful. On our next exhale, we'll slowly start to roll it all the way up. From here, we'll plant the soles of the feet into the earth and we'll scoot our sit bones closer to the heels. Just take a peek back and make sure on your mat that you have enough space to go back on. And when you do, with the help of your hands, slowly lower your back flush to the ground. When you get here, you may want to walk your heels one step closer in towards your bum. Our feet are inner hip distance apart, so go ahead and heel toe them in closer together if they're too far apart. Just like in our standing poses, we're grounding down through all four corners of the feet, pressing the feet into the earth, and that should give you a slight little lift in the low back. We'll inhale our arms up to robot arms, pressing into the backs of the triceps. Preparing for our bridge pose. On our next inhale, we'll slowly begin to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, squeezing the thighs together and pressing away from the mat with our feet. Pressing into the back of the head, we can bring our hands behind our back and interlace the fingers, squeezing the shoulder blades together and seeing if that gives us any more room to go up a little higher. Keeping those hips lifted nice and high, squeezing those thighs together. Taking a nice full breath in, we'll move the hands out of the way. And on our exhale, very slowly and with control, we'll begin to lower it down one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. When we're fully flush to the ground, we'll heel toe our feet out as wide as the mat, bringing the two knees to dip in the center. From here, we'll windshield wiper our legs, similar to how our windshields go on our cars. So take a nice deep breath in, legs up at center. Bring the hands just to gently rest on the belly here. Exhale, we'll drop both knees over to the left. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, drop them over to the right. Inhale, we'll bring them back up to center, and this time we'll heel toe the feet all the way together, and this time bringing the soles of the feet to touch and releasing the knees all the way down, coming to our reclined butterfly pose. Hands are still on our belly. If this doesn't feel great, you can get some cushions and put them underneath the thighs for some extra support. You can also get a cushion and put it underneath your low back just to give that additional lift. You can put a cushion under your head and make this reclined butterfly as nourishing as you need. As we sit here, I encourage you to really consider how you've been showing up for yourself, whether it's related to this program, to your work, in your relationships, in your friendships, for yourself. Think about the things that are no longer serving you. And as you're laying here, I encourage you and I invite you to welcome a release, to let go of those things that do not belong in this season, to feel them melt away as you lay here. I'll check in with you later. Have a great day.